As the political landscape in the United States continues to evolve, the nation is witnessing a pivotal moment marked by a series of special elections that could either bolster or challenge the current administration's hold on power. With Donald Trump and his Republican allies navigating uncharted waters since his return to the presidency, Democrats are seizing the opportunity to identify potential vulnerabilities through these elections. Recent polling indicates that despite the apparent challenges facing Democrats, Trump's approval rating remains steady at 45%, a figure that has become a source of concern for his opponents. This persistent support comes amid a backdrop of Democrats struggling to unify their messaging against the populist wave that has characterized Trump's governance. Historically low approval ratings for the Democratic Party add to their challenges as they grapple with formulating effective strategies to counteract the Trump administration's actions, which have included significant workforce reductions and contentious foreign policy shifts. However, a flicker of hope has emerged for Democrats following surprising victories in 2 Pennsylvania state legislative races. These results not only restored their majority in the statehouse but also marked a significant upset in a district previously dominated by Trump. Notably, East Petersburg Mayor James Malone's narrow victory over Republican Joshua Parsons, who campaigned as a Trump ally, has injected a renewed sense of optimism into the Democratic base. Democrats are building back power at the grassroots as voters join us in fighting against the Trump-Musk agenda, said Libby Schneider, Deputy Executive Director of the Democratic National Committee. The stakes are equally high in Florida, where special elections are set to replace former Republican members of Congress Matt Gaetz and Michael Waltz. While these districts are considered conservative strongholds, with Trump having won Gaetz's old district by a staggering 68%, Democrats are cautiously optimistic. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries expressed confidence that their candidates could significantly overperform expectations, particularly given the substantial fundraising efforts of Gay Vallimont, who aims to reclaim ground after a previous defeat. A recent poll indicating a tighter race between Republican Randy Fine and Democrat Josh Weil has further fueled speculation that these elections could defy conventional wisdom. The situation intensifies in Wisconsin, where a fiercely contested state Supreme Court race has drawn national attention. With over $81 million spent, this race is on track to become the most expensive judicial election in American history, significantly overshadowing previous records. The outcome could shape critical issues like abortion access and redistricting, making it a barometer for the broader national political climate. In a move signaling potential unease within Republican ranks, Trump recently withdrew the nomination of Representative Elise Stefanik for the United Nations ambassadorship. By encouraging her to remain in Congress, Trump acknowledged the precariousness of the GOP's slim majority in the House, which stands at just 5 votes. This strategic retreat underscores the pressure the party faces as it seeks to maintain control amid growing discontent. Looking ahead, both Virginia and New Jersey are gearing up for gubernatorial races that will serve as additional litmus tests of public sentiment. Virginia in particular is viewed as a crucial battleground due to its historical significance as a bellwether state. With both governors term limited, the outcomes of these contests will be closely scrutinized for insights into how effectively Trump's influence has penetrated traditionally Democratic strongholds. As the special elections unfold, the ramifications extend beyond immediate party victories or losses. They signal a larger struggle for the direction of American democracy. With tensions rising and stakes higher than ever, both parties are poised for a tumultuous electoral season that could redefine the political landscape in the years to come. The results of these contests could either reinforce Trump's grip on power or ignite a resurgence for Democrats, setting the stage for the 2026 midterm elections and beyond. In the turbulent landscape of American politics, the Republican Party finds itself navigating a storm of discontent and controversy even as it occupies the highest echelons of power. Recent events have highlighted a concerning trend: a party that appears increasingly frustrated and disoriented despite its control of the White House, Congress, and the Supreme Court. This predicament raises critical questions about the party's ability to govern effectively and the underlying causes of its apparent malaise. In an op-ed for USA Today, Luis Villalobos articulates this concern, suggesting that the GOP's current struggles stem from the inherent difficulties of governing. "It's hard, you guys," he writes, referencing the complexities of balancing the myriad laws and regulations that dictate American governance. The writer notes that while Donald Trump and his administration have made significant strides in reshaping the political landscape, they have also created a chaotic environment filled with executive orders and court challenges, leading to a perception of incompetence among Republican lawmakers. Indeed, data illustrates the party's mounting challenges. Trump's administration has faced more than 50 legal defeats in court, and recent polling indicates that consumer confidence has plummeted to a 12-year low. As Villalobos points out, the economic policies instituted under Trump's leadership have sparked fears of impending Medicaid cuts, generating anxiety among voters who rely on such support systems. This cocktail of uncertainty and turmoil is further exacerbated by reports of significant federal layoffs, which have only added to the growing discontent among constituents. Amid these difficulties, the GOP's leadership seems to be struggling with its identity and purpose. Villalobos notes a disconnect between the party's achievements and the satisfaction of its voter base. While polling suggests that many Republican voters remain loyal to Trump, there is a pervasive sense of disillusionment regarding how the party is managing its newfound power. The actions of leaders such as House Speaker Mike Johnson, who recently threatened judges during a press conference, may reflect an underlying desperation and a refusal to engage constructively with both their constituents and the Democratic opposition. Adding to the GOP's woes, a shocking incident occurred at the Republican Party headquarters in New Mexico, where a fire was ruled as a deliberate act of arson. This attack, accompanied by graffiti linking immigration and customs enforcement to the Ku Klux Klan, underscores the intense political climate that has been inflamed by both parties. While the Democratic Party of New Mexico condemned the vandalism, the incident reflects a broader trend of escalating political tensions that threaten the foundations of civil discourse. As the Republican Party grapples with these challenges, the upcoming special elections will serve as a critical test of its unity and electoral viability. With slim margins in the House, any missteps could jeopardize their majority and further erode voter confidence. Political analysts are closely monitoring these developments, noting that if the GOP cannot effectively leverage its control to address pressing issues, it may face significant electoral repercussions in future elections. In conclusion, the Republican Party stands at a crossroads, contending with the dual pressures of internal disarray and external scrutiny. As the political landscape continues to evolve, the party must find a way to channel its energy into productive governance rather than chaos. The coming months will be pivotal as the GOP seeks not only to stabilize its base but also to provide tangible solutions that resonate with the American public. Failure to do so could result in lasting damage to its credibility and electoral prospects. As the political landscape in the United States continues to evolve, recent events have underscored the deepening rift within party lines and the shifting allegiances of voters. Key developments surrounding the 2026 New Hampshire Senate race. The Senate's recent actions regarding overdraft fees and the growing discontent among younger voters towards the Democratic Party highlight the complexities and challenges facing American politics today. In New Hampshire, speculation about the 2026 Senate race is heating up as potential candidates emerge. Republican Governor Chris Sununu and Democratic Senator Maggie Hassan are at the forefront of discussions. Sununu's popularity as a moderate Republican could pose a formidable challenge to Hassan, who has faced criticism for her handling of various issues. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party is grappling with internal divisions as younger voters express dissatisfaction with leaders like Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, whose centrism they believe is alienating the party's base. Leah Juliet, a former staffer for Schumer, articulated this sentiment in a recent op-ed, criticizing the leader for his failure to connect with progressive ideals and the urgent needs of younger constituents, particularly on issues like LGBTQ+ rights and climate change. The Senate's recent decision to overturn a limit on overdraft fees serves as a stark reminder of the ongoing tug-of-war between consumer protection and banking interests. In a narrow 52-48 vote, lawmakers rejected a proposed rule from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau that aimed to cap overdraft fees at $5 down from the standard $35. Proponents of the repeal, including Republican Senator Tim Scott, argue that such regulations hinder banks' ability to operate effectively, especially during economic fluctuations. However, consumer advocates warn that this rollback could disproportionately affect families already struggling to make ends meet, pushing many further into financial distress. In the broader context, these developments reflect a consistent trend of disillusionment among voters, particularly younger demographics. The Democratic Party's perceived drift towards centrism and away from progressive values has resulted in a growing sense of alienation among young voters. The disconnect between their expectations and the party's actions manifests in a lack of enthusiasm and engagement, challenging the party's future electoral prospects. As more young people express their frustrations, the need for leadership that prioritizes bold, uncompromising action on social justice issues becomes increasingly critical. The intersection of these narratives, New Hampshire's Senate race, the Senate's move on overdraft fees, and the discontent among young voters, paints a complex picture of American politics as it stands today. As both parties grapple with their identities and the expectations of their constituents, the coming months will be pivotal in shaping the future landscape of American governance. The ability to address these concerns effectively may determine not only electoral outcomes but also the very fabric of party loyalty and voter engagement moving forward. In the ever-evolving landscape of U.S. politics, special elections often serve as a litmus test for voter sentiment and party strength. This week, two significant races in Florida and a developing situation in Arizona highlight the mounting pressures faced by Republicans, particularly as they navigate the implications of former President Donald Trump's policies. In Florida, the stakes are high as voters head to the polls for two special congressional elections, which many analysts view as a potential referendum on the Trump administration's agenda. Notably, the races in Florida's 6th and 1st congressional districts are drawing national attention, particularly due to the Democratic candidates' focus on accountability and moderation amidst Trump's polarizing influence. Josh Weil, a Democratic candidate and public school teacher, is challenging Republican State Senator Randy Fine in the 6th District, a seat left vacant by Mike Waltz's resignation. Despite the district's Republican lean, where GOP voters outnumber Democrats by a 2-to-1 margin, Weil's campaign has gained traction, demonstrating a growing discontent with the current political climate. "Our Constitution is being crushed, that's not hyperbole," Weil declared, framing the election as an opportunity for voters to reclaim their voice against an administration he believes is undermining democratic principles. Polling suggests that Weil's campaign is resonating with constituents who are increasingly concerned about the impacts of funding cuts to education and social services. Recent voter turnout data shows Democrats with a slight edge in early voting, which could signal a shift in momentum as the election approaches. Political analysts like Christopher Cooper note that a victory for Weil would not only be an electoral upset but could also indicate a broader trend of discontent within the Republican base. "When there's not much on the menu, people are going to gobble up anything that is there," Cooper remarked, emphasizing the potential for these races to catalyze electoral change. Meanwhile, the political landscape in Arizona is also undergoing significant shifts following the death of longtime Congressman Raul Grijalva. His daughter Adelita Grijalva is stepping into the political arena, seeking to fill her father's seat in Congressional District 7. In her campaign announcement, she emphasized the need for bold leadership and vowed to uphold her father's legacy of advocacy for education, environmental issues, and immigrant rights. "At this time in our nation, we can't negotiate with a party of extremists," she asserted, reflecting the urgency many Democrats feel in the current political climate. Adelita Grijalva's candidacy is bolstered by endorsements from a range of local Democratic leaders and highlights the ongoing struggle within the party to appeal to a diverse electorate. With early voting set to commence in June and the primary election scheduled for July, her campaign is poised to engage a district where 40% of voters are registered Democrats. The implications of her run extend beyond mere electoral politics. They represent a continuation of a legacy that has shaped southern Arizona's political landscape for over 2 decades. As these elections unfold, the Republican Party's strategy is under intense scrutiny. The recent challenges faced by candidates like Fine, who relies heavily on Trump's endorsement, suggest that the party may need to recalibrate its approach to maintain its foothold in traditionally Republican areas. The dynamics in both Florida and Arizona underscore a critical moment in U.S. politics where voter engagement and dissatisfaction with the status quo could redefine the electoral map. Looking ahead, the outcomes of these special elections may serve as bellwethers for the 2026 midterms as both parties grapple with the evolving expectations of their constituents. As voters demand accountability and a return to bipartisanship, the upcoming races will be pivotal in shaping the narrative heading into the next election cycle. The political landscape is shifting, and how both parties respond to the emerging trends will likely determine their fortunes in the months to come. In a dramatic display of political influence, billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk took center stage in Green Bay, Wisconsin, handing out $1 million checks to 2 voters on March 30, 2025. This controversial move comes just days before a pivotal Wisconsin Supreme Court election that Musk has characterized as crucial not only for the state but for the future of American democracy, linking it directly to former President Donald Trump's agenda. With an audience of approximately 2,000, Musk donned a yellow cheesehead, had an emblem of Wisconsin pride as he addressed the crowd, emphasizing the significance of the election and shaping the ideological balance of the court. Musk's generous financial gesture has stirred up considerable debate and protest. The checks were presented to the recipients as a means to elevate their status as spokespeople for Musk's political group amidst a backdrop of escalating tensions surrounding the impending judicial race. With more than $20 million reportedly spent by Musk and his associated groups to support conservative candidate Brad Schimel, this election has shattered national spending records for a judicial contest, providing a stark illustration of how private wealth can intersect with public policy. "This is a super big deal," Musk declared passionately. "I'm not phoning it in. I'm here in person." He underscored the potential ramifications of the court's decisions, particularly regarding redistricting congressional districts, which could significantly impact political representation in Wisconsin and beyond. Musk warned that if the court were to favor liberal candidates, it could lead to a gerrymandered districting that would jeopardize Republican representation, asserting, "They will try to stop all the government reforms we are getting done for you, the American people." The backdrop to this event was a unanimous decision by the Wisconsin Supreme Court, which had declined to intervene in a last-minute legal challenge from the Democratic Attorney General, Josh Weil. Weil argued that Musk's actions violated state laws prohibiting the offering of incentives to influence voting behavior. However, the court, which currently holds a 4-3 liberal majority, opted not to provide rationale for its decision, leaving Musk's attorneys to assert that the payments were a form of free speech aimed at fostering a grassroots movement against what they termed activist judges. Musk's approach echoes strategies employed during the previous presidential election, where his Political Action Committee offered substantial payments to incentivize voter participation in key battleground states. Despite the apparent legality of these tactics, they have drawn scrutiny and opposition from various quarters, including liberal factions accusing Musk of attempting to unduly influence the judicial system. As the election approaches, the battle lines are drawn, with Schimel representing Trump-aligned interests and facing off against liberal candidate Susan Crawford, who has garnered significant backing from the state's progressive factions. Schimel has distanced himself from Musk's financial maneuvers, asserting on national television that he does not control external spending and remains committed to upholding the law impartially. The outcome of this election will not only reshape the Wisconsin Supreme Court but also has broader implications for several contentious issues, including abortion rights, union power, and voting regulations, all of which could influence the political landscape leading up to the 2026 midterms and the 2028 presidential election. As political finance and judicial integrity continue to collide, all eyes will be on Wisconsin to see how this high-stakes drama unfolds and what it signals for the future of political engagement in America.